Welcome everyone to episode 192 of Just Joshing. I am your host, Joshua Pantellaresco. I write stuff in podcast too. Today, my guest is the one and only Randy McCharles. Randy is always one of the big pillars of the Calgary writing community. He definitely... I've said a lot of nice things about him in the past, so I think I'll say this. He seems anyway like one of the most well put together people I know. He is an amazingly gifted writer, organizer, and like I said, When Words Collide is probably, in all honesty, the best show I do every year. And it was a lot of fun. He lets me goof off on basically in his show, so I'm always grateful and appreciative of that. So thank you, Randy, for putting up with me year after year. But anyway, I met him out of chapters here, and we were just talking about life, liberty, and all that other wonderful fun stuff. So let's just get to it, shall we? Here. So do you have anything incriminating you'd like to say?
Well, there's this podcaster I know who's a real sleazebag.
Yes.
I'm not going to mention any names.
No. Maybe you might be... do I know him?
Oh, I'm sure you know.
You do? I know him. Okay.
Probably very well.
Yeah. I hear he's a dick.
Well, I'm going to say sleazebag.
Okay, guys.
It's a little safer word.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So sleazebag's better than dick?
I think so.
Okay. What's the difference?
A sleazebag is more about them, and a dick is more about what they do to other people.
Ah.
In my mind. Anyway.
Okay.
If someone's a dick, it's how I'm affected.
Oh, okay.
But if they're a sleazebag, it's just their general behavior.
Yeah. Okay.
Not addressing me personally.
No.
But if they're a dick, it's because they did something.
Ah, gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
Whereas for a sleazebag,
they destroy themselves.
Maybe they did nothing to me, but their behavior is such that.
So basically, they destroy themselves, whereas the dick destroys everything around them.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand now.
No, if someone's a dick, I stop having anything to do with them because again, they're impacting me.
Well, yeah, absolutely. No, I got you.
But if they're a sleazebag, I can sit there and laugh at them. Because they're not affecting me personally.
You're a hoot. You gotta tell you, you're a hoot. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Joshua?
I've had a weird week.
Have you?
Well,
you've been writing a lot. I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah. So last Friday, I made a decision, and it was like I want to see if I can get a book polishable enough to pitch to agents while I'm in VCon. I thought I'd do that. It's like, do I have a story in my head that could do that? And I'm like, well, yeah, the NaNoWriMo I tried last year. It's like, it's still a good idea. It's like, but now I'm a little older and wiser, and I know what I'm actually trying to say.
Right.
It's been coming out incredibly. I'm at least a third of the way through the book.
Oh, good.
And I might be at half by the time the weekend's done. See, it's not... I've never had a story come out that easy before.
Well, that means you're comfortable with it, you know it.
Yeah, like really well. Like there are little things I don't know so well, but they're not like major plot. They're not like major plot holes. Like adding depth. Like the skeleton is exactly where I want.
That's where you want to be, though. Get that skeleton, then you go fill it in later.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of where I'm at. So it's actually very possible I might finish it by next weekend.
Sweet.
That's insane. I've never.
That's what I always do, so it's not insane to me.
You finish a novel in 2 weeks?
I do the first draft of a novel in 3 to 4 days.
Wow. That's impressive.
That's the way I work.
Yeah.
Is if I know what the bones of the story is, I'll write down that first draft. The first draft's only 50 to 60,000 words.
Yes.
But then you've got to go back and say, okay, now I've got this. What type of context do I need to further develop the characters and the other aspects of the writing?
So can I ask you, like, what you mean by that specifically? Just from a context, like the characterization of them somewhat, like little detail kind of stuff. Or?
Well, the first draft for me is the core plot.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that has to happen in the plot pretty much happens in that first draft. But the characters have other stuff going on. And on the second draft, I can give them more stuff that actually ties in later, or into the plot, or even later in the plot, or maybe when I got to that climax of the story, I'm going, gee, it'd be really good if this character had this background, and I now go develop that background. on the second draft.
So for me, I already kind of have a, like, especially with this story, the main characters, I have a very clear idea of who they are. Like, that's already, like, built.
I'm not referring to that.
No.
I'm going, let's say, at the end, climax, it works really, really well if their best friend was actually a backstabber.
Ah.
Okay. And now I can go back in the second draft and go, here's good opportunities
To plant those little clues
where I can
in.
plant that little bit of stuff, so when you actually now get to the climax, it's like, I thought he was a backstabber.
I thought so. Yeah. So how many drafts do you usually do?
To get to the full story, probably 3 drafts. But then there's polishing drafts after that.
Yeah.
But to actually have the full story with everything I want in it is usually 3 drafts.
How long does that take you?
It can take me 2 weeks altogether, but I'll let it sit between drafts.
Which makes sense because honestly, the farther you're away from it, the clearer you can see some of your own mistakes too.
There's that, but also it sits there and simmers.
Okay.
So you've written that first draft. Your subconscious mind is going in, oh, this would be cool to add, and that would be cool to add, and this would be cool to develop.
Yeah.
And then going through there, I remember that stuff. It's all subconscious, so it's all there. I'll start doing that, but then I've also done some distancing. So I go, oh, this makes no sense. When I did it the first time, I thought it was
cool,
exactly what was required, but now I've stepped back a bit, and it's like, this doesn't make any sense. I have to remove it or change it or something.
Okay.
But if you write it twice in a row, like you say, you're too close to it, and you don't see any of your mistakes. You can do that second draft right away.
Yeah, so about 2 months then is about an average for you?
Well, typically I do a draft of a different book.
Yeah.
Or 2, and then I go back.
So how many books are you working on usually?
Right now, I've got 6 in progress, and I'm making notes for another 5.
So you're a big plotter? Are you a big plotter?
Yes and no. I'm probably in the middle. I need the high points. I need to kind of know where it's going to go.
So going back to the beginning, it's like you like having a skeleton, but
yes.
but beyond that, you kind of want to see where it takes you.
Well, when I make my story notes, I do them, plot point form.
Okay.
It's like, well, this should happen next, and then maybe the next week when I go think about it, I'll insert something here, I'll add something there, or whatever. But before I start writing, I usually have about 18 scenes in mind.
Wow.
Before I start.
For me, I have the ending, I have the beginning, and I usually have like 3 or 4 really big, important scenes in the middle, and then everything else just will come when it comes.
And that's normal.
Yeah.
But if you're actually thinking about it for months before you start, you'll end up with more.
Yep. Well, this one's weird because I haven't thought about it that much, and I already know like this point here, this point here, this point here. Like I've never had a story like this before.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Like I say, you know your story. I tell people there's no such thing as writer's block. If you hit a wall, it means you don't know your story.
Yeah.
And so don't think about what happens next. Think about your whole story to get out of the block. It's like, what am I really writing here?
Yeah, and I know what I'm writing, and I really do know what I'm writing, at least for this one. Now, if I ever do a sequel or another one, that'll be different. I'm not there yet, but for this one, I know exactly kind of where.
But it'll simmer.
Yeah.
I'm already making notes for a sequel to a book that I hadn't planned a sequel for. But having finished the book, now it's been simmering. I'm going, I can do this, and I can do that, and I can do this. And I'm making those notes right now.
Much Ado About Macbeth, please tell me that one.
It's not that one.
Oh.
No, it's my next book from Tyche, which is A Connecticut Gumshoe in King Arthur's Court.
Oh, nice.
So the sequel for that would be A Connecticut Gumshoe in Sherwood Forest.
Yeah, you can definitely have some fun with that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm already making some story notes on that. Just as they come to me. I'm not sitting down trying to go, what should I do?
Well, no, and you never should do that, because the moment you do that, you lose the story.
Yeah, well, you're forcing everything.
Yeah, you lose it.
So while I'm working on other projects, I'm making notes on that and others.
I owe you a big thank you.
Oh, yeah?
Dr. Sousa.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Seuss, that was great.
I don't know who is beside us. I really don't. I really pity them, because it just got louder and louder and louder in the room. So I let the audience kind of dictate where we were going to go, and wow, was that fun.
Well, I haven't heard any complaints
No.
yet.
It's good. No, you put on. I've said this in past interviews. You don't get enough credit for the work you do in the community, specifically for When Words Collide. You really don't.
People thank me all the time, so I get credit.
I know, but it's just one of those things. You just quietly go about your business, and it's amazing. Like in terms of conventions, I can't really think of any other convention that is that succinctly organized, start to finish. I hardly see you guys. Yeah, like in terms of like I've gone to conventions where I will see the staff all the time doing stuff. That's usually a bad sign, right? Right? Because that usually means something's going on.
Yeah.
The exceptions are like when you see a big celebrity guest going around, then it's normal to see staff around because they're doing what they can to make sure that
they're doing some security.
Yeah, they're doing security. That's totally understandable.
Yeah.
But when you see staff roaming around, wandering around, looking like kind of like they're going like somewhere, you're like, something's going on somewhere. I've never seen that.
No, I spent all day Sunday at the live action slushes. That was a blast.
Yeah.
And then I spent most of the rest of the weekend in the Merchants Corner.
Which
just talking to people.
Yeah.
That was great.
Well, that should be like I always feel like the show itself should be the cake for the organizers. Because a lot of your work is prior to the show.
Yeah.
Getting guests, making sure everything was lined up, the right volunteers in the right places. Yeah. That feels that's like a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah. And then but every year it just seems to pull it off. And I definitely had fun, so thank you very much.
Excellent. Well, thank you for the comments.
Yeah. So how many auroras have been nominated for When Words Collide at this point?
We've been nominated every year.
Yeah.
And we've won every year but one. When Toronto kind of got their act together and one of their events on their one.
Yeah. So for you, does that? And I'm bringing this up because like. When I air this, it's going to be during all the other Aurora nominees.
Yeah.
So, do they still mean the same thing to you at this point?
Oh, yes. Yes. It's the Aurora Award is a fan-based award.
Mm-hmm.
And so people and events that get nominated, it's because a large number of people respect what they do, like what they do, and it's how they show that they, thank you.
Yes.
And so to be nominated every year means there's people across Canada that are thanking us. So so I really appreciate that.
Oh, I never thought of it quite that way. It was like, this is my first time. So it's really like, it's been an interesting roller coaster for me. So
yeah, but that's what it is. It's a thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you to you for what you do because people are noticing, right?
Yes, exactly. So you've gone back now, like you've done some self-published work in the past.
Yes.
I want to say Capone, Chicago, right? That was a really fun read, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, so now you're doing the Day of the Demon series?
Yeah, well, this is my most recent book.
Yeah.
Day of the Demon, which is not the most recent book I've written, because I actually wrote that a long time ago. It's a young adult space opera.
Ooh.
And then I started writing previous contemporary fantasy, and this didn't fit.
Yes.
And so I didn't do anything with it. It was pretty much done, but I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But it wasn't what I was doing, right? And so I finally said, this is stupid. It's sitting in my drawer. It's done. I should get it out there. So I did a new polishing revision on it, sent it out to some beta readers. Got some really good feedback. Not to change much, just tweaks here and there.
Yeah.
And then I went and looked for a pre-made book cover that actually fit the story.
Yeah.
The problem with the title is it sounds like a horror story, The Day of the Demon.
Yes.
And so I'm going, well, it's not a horror story. It's a dark space opera with some humor thrown in. And so I needed a cover that would actually tell people this is not a horror novel.
Well, it definitely doesn't look like a horror.
No. Well, this cover was perfect because she's one of the two main characters.
Yep.
I go, oh, that's Alethea. That's one of my two main characters.
So it worked out. It worked out for you.
Yeah. So it works good. This definitely says, space. The At least his image here does not say horror.
No.
So it pretty much tells you what the book's about.
And honestly, although like horror and like it was just a horror space, it's actually a really cool connection because space is such an unknown because we don't go out there. It's really easy to actually incorporate horror elements into space opera. One of my favorite books that was dealt with the concept of oxygen. Breathing in space is a really, you can make that a really scary concept, right? And so I mean, I could definitely see where horror fits into it.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, so why did you call it the Day of the Demon then?
Because it's actually about possession. And those that possess. Well, I don't want to give any spoilers.
No.
But they are called demons, and so this is a battle to prevent the demons from taking over.
Okay.
And of course, it's a YA novel. There's two teenagers that are
they're at the forefront of this.
At the forefront of the battle. Yes.
Yes. So, okay. So you've been writing, from what I'm getting gathering, you've been writing a lot more mystery stuff lately.
Yes. Actually, this is the first year I don't have a book out.
Yeah.
So this book actually came out last year and was an Aurora Award finalist.
Yeah.
In the YA category. But I thought I'm gonna give the mysteries a shot, but I'm also going to do the whole self-published mystery series method a try.
Okay.
Where you actually need to write books fast.
Yes.
People don't want to wait a year between books in that market.
No.
They want
a book every 2-3 months.
Yeah. They want a book right away. So I said, well, I'm gonna do character arcs that are 5 books long for my 2 main characters.
Yeah.
So this is Peter Galloway, Private Eye, and Sergeant Ford of the RCMP are the 2 main characters. So they have 5-book story arcs. Each book is its own.
Is it its own thing to do?
Standalone.
Do they tie together at the end, or
Well, not the standalone plots.
No, not the plots. But sometimes sometimes in books like this, there's an overarching.
Yeah, well, that's why I say the character arcs go over 5 books. The first book introduces problems that don't get solved
until the end
of the 5th book.
Gotcha.
And so I wanted to make sure I had books that could come out quickly, and that I didn't lose any opportunities by finishing book 1 before starting book 2.
Yes.
So I actually wrote all 5 books. The final 2 right now are still in first draft stage. But the first 2 are final polishing right now.
So
book 3 is close to being
ready,
finished to get ready for polishing.
And I'm going to be trying. I'm going to try and do my version of Serialized with my science fiction book that I read at IFLA. It's almost ready to go.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, but I just we're in an interesting time. Like I said, I've said this in the past, where the phone's our medium. Right, so big novels, reading them on the phone doesn't feel like you're reading an actual book, but a short piece, a shorter piece, feels very natural on the phone, right? Yeah. So, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to block it out into little sections so people can read 1, and then next week they can read 2, and then 3.
Yeah, well, it's episodic.
It's
episodal. So you've got episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. Yeah.
Yeah, and just keep it short and keep it short, and because I just figure we're this is a really cool time to be a writer because you can try a lot of different things, and there's almost an opportunity in every market right now.
But with episodes, you hit all the markets because let's say you're doing 8 episodes for the phone.
Yep.
Then you tie them together as an omnibus.
Yes, exactly.
And you do the standalone book out of it. So you get it both ways.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I was thinking about when I did this, right? It's written just enough like a novel that when you read it together, it feels like a novel, but there's enough episodic pieces to it, right, that you don't feel cheated when you read it.
I should say you don't want cliffhangers at the end of your episodes unless it's right after that episode's problem is resolved.
Yes.
Then you can set up the next one.
Well, whereas if I was doing an audio, I'd be doing intro, character beat, action point, cliffhanger every single time.
Yes.
Right. So that's the way it goes. We have a very excitable individual over here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why not? We're in a bookstore.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So, I guess I'm gonna ask a tough one for you.
Okay.
What do you prefer at this point, the mysteries or the contemporary fantasy?
Well, right now, because I'm neck deep in the mysteries, I prefer the mysteries.
Yeah.
That's where my headspace has been for the last 2 years or so. I'm still reading some speculative fiction.
Is that more like a hobby at this point, or like
no.
the speculative, or just?
No, I read them because I want to read them.
Okay.
And I'm making notes for a new speculative fiction book.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's the Sherwood Forest books. So
Yes.
I'm making notes on that.
So you are going so that's going to be so is that kind of like your traditional strategy, or as you go through publishing houses, is the buttery?
Well, I'm going whatever's appropriate for what the book is, right?
Okay.
My current publisher, Taiki, does speculative fiction. So if I write speculative fiction books, I'm going to pitch them to them.
Yep.
If I'm writing something different, then I have to think of something else. I mean, this was a YA space opera. I could have pitched it to Taiki, but I didn't think it was a good fit for them. So I wanted to experiment with self-publishing, so I went that route for it.
Yeah.
Just to get it out there. This is not contemporary fantasy, which is what I'm doing with.
Wait. Again, it's about
with Taiki.
It's kind of about brand.
It's about branding. Yeah.
Yeah.
If people go to Taiki for one of my books, they're looking for
speculative fantasy.
Looking for humor. They're looking for contemporary.
Yeah.
Now, even though my Kinetic Gumshoe is set in the past, it's with a contemporary character.
Yeah.
So you've got the contemporary viewpoint of everything. So
it's not a big stretch. So I gotcha.
Yeah.
Although I always thought you'd be actually, based on what I've seen from Char, you could do a really neat. I think you would do a really interesting hard science fiction.
And I could.
Yes.
But
I know it may not be your thing, but I'm just saying, I think you're cerebral enough to put something like that together really well. And I mean that as a compliment.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
My problem right now is I'm trying to narrow my brand instead of broaden it.
No, I gotcha.
It's really, really difficult. The more broadly you write, the harder it is to build a following. So.
Yeah. Unless you're like someone like Dan Simmons, who seems to pull it.
He broke the rules. Okay?
Yeah.
He's the guy that says, I'm going to go write a laundry list, and it'll be a bestseller. That's just Dan Simmons.
Yes. And he's really good, too. Like, he's really, really good.
Well, he's a great writer. And, and I think one of the things that works well for him is that he does not fail to surprise.
No.
When you read his books, you're going to be surprised all the way along because he's really good at that.
But they're logical surprises too. Like he builds them up so well, and when he gets to them, he twists them in such an interesting way. That you're like, this worked. I didn't expect this. Or even sometimes when you do expect it, the way he it ties all together, you're like, wow.
But he surprises in a good way.
Yeah.
You can surprise to disappoint. That's not what I'm talking about.
No. Well, no. It's a really fine balancing act. Because sometimes when you surprise people, right? Sometimes you have good intentions, but you either give too much away, whereas there's no real surprises on the journey itself. Or it feels like such a deus ex machina that it's like.
Well, one of my biggest surprises at this point, and I won't name the author, but it was a epic fantasy trilogy that ended saying, "Haha, this isn't epic fantasy; it's science fiction." At the end of book 3, which was huge, and I wasn't the only one disappointed. His whole fan base was just up in arms.
Yeah, like you gotta be true to who you are, like whatever that is.
Well, you have to deliver what you promised.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how good it is if it's not what you promised, you've got the wrong reader.
Yeah.
They have a different expectation.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite little short story collections is Isaac Asimov's Sassel. It's him being as silly and as flippant as possible. He was actually forced to change it to more of a science fiction base. It wasn't.
Oh, okay.
That's why the earlier ones feel like very, very mystical, demonic. That was his intent. Something silly, something a little fun, nothing serious, right? But he's Isaac Asimov, and everybody knows him for his science fiction. So they asked him, could you science fiction up the claw a little bit? And he did. And it still wasn't bad, but it wasn't the same.
Well, you're talking about having your brand too wide. Mm-hmm. Asimov was a writer. He wrote tons of stuff.
450 books.
He wrote nonfiction. He wrote essays. You name it, he wrote it. What took off first was the science fiction.
Yes.
And now his publishers are going, well, everything else you're sending us, it better be science fiction too, because that's what your brand now is.
Well, his fiction publishers, yes. His nonfiction ones loved his nonfiction.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know.
A totally different market.
Oh, yeah, totally different markets. And the thing was, it was for him, because he got, like, Foundation's Edge did so well when it came out, that he could make certain demands, like, okay, I'll do this for you, but I'm also doing this, and they were like, okay,
Yeah.
which is really good.
Reminds me of Terry Brooks.
Yeah,
It's hilarious because his Shannara books, or Shannara as he pronounces it.
Yeah.
His books took off, and his publisher wanted a new Shannara book, and he said, okay, I'll do 3 more books if you also buy 3 non-Shannara books. And I'm not talking about his Magic Kingdom books. I'm talking about
no, Night of the Word series. Yes.
And so he did that. Those were his worst selling books. And then lo and behold, much later, a few years after that, you discover that they were indeed Shannara books anyway.
Yes.
But I love those books. They were actually my favorite.
Well, so I love Raymond Weiss. Like, I love his Magician series, but Mid-Chemia, just after a while, you need to, like, walk away. But one of my favorite books of his is Fairy Tale. It's a standalone.
Yes. Yeah.
It's so good. All right. I know it probably didn't do as well, but it was such a good. It's refreshing. So when he went back to his Mid-Chemia, it actually made him come at it, like, with new life. Like, you can tell when an author has been stuck in this world for so long and they're caught, because on the one hand, they're getting paid to do this.
Yes.
But on the other hand, they've done so much of this, they're like, please just stop.
Well, what's funny about Fairy Tale is I read it as a younger guy, and I'd only read science fiction up to that. So I didn't really have the background of the mythology behind fairy tales. So when I read that book, so much of it was brand new to me that I didn't even see how he was playing off of the mythology, but thoroughly enjoyed the book.
No, it's one of his. It's probably my favorite of his books, to be perfectly honest with you. It's like also another one, David Eddings. I enjoyed The Losers.
I didn't read that one.
Yeah, but that one was, because again, it was so different from what he normally did.
Yes.
It just showed that he had a lot more range than people realized he had. Right.
He had a background as a lawyer, I believe. I believe he was a lawyer before he started writing.
Yeah, he was a lawyer. And he was a few other things too. And then, but he
had a lot of experience to draw on to write other types of stories.
Yes. So I mean, it's on one hand, I mean, I think the Belgarian Malorian trilogy, like 10 books, is amazing.
Yeah.
I found he got harder to read as I got older because he was saying the same things over and over again, and it worked for him. I mean, hey, listen, success is success, but I wish he had been able to do more Losers or High Hunt or something.
Yeah.
So
Well, he did what his publisher demanded.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, this is the problem. Once you actually get to be an A-list author, you lose creative control.
Yeah.
Your publisher tells you what they want from you.
Yeah, and then they're like, "This is what we want." Okay. I know. I'm enjoying my experiments in anonymity, whether it's accidentally inventing a board game or whether it's like I'm able to try stuff right now, and I'm kind of figuring out what works for me, so that when I become an A-lister, or if even just a respectable B or C lister, I'm comfortable with who I am as a writer. I think that's a very important thing. So you know that once you really get into this, you're going to be doing this, and if you don't enjoy it, right, it's gonna become a torture for you.
Yes. Well, that's like Piers Anthony.
Yeah.
Went down that Xanth rabbit hole. His publisher wouldn't let him write anything else.
Nope.
That was it. You write something else, we're not going to buy it.
And he's like, but. It's too bad because some of his other stuff's really good too. Another guy that's really.
Did you read his science fiction book Macroscope?
I didn't read that one. I read Bio the Space Tyrant, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I've also read. I loved his game. I can't remember what it's called. The games one. Where
What was that called? I know what you mean.
Yeah, that one was really good. I wasn't as crazy about his Incarnations of Immortality, but it wasn't bad. It was just, he was a lot more comfortable when it was very different from Xanth.
I believe he wrote those very quickly.
Yeah.
Which is probably why they just weren't as
Yeah.
as good.
Yeah, I didn't mind them.
Yeah.
They weren't like my personal. They were smart.
I read them. They were there.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's like, okay, Perzanthi has a new book. I'll go read it.
Yeah, but no.
I did stop on the exact stuff though. I read maybe 5 and then stopped.
You read, but that's all you actually need to read. Like you read that arc where it gets to, I think, Nightmare. Nightmare, I think, is the last one you should absolutely read because it ties all the characters back on the first one.
I believe I read that part.
Yeah. Because it ties them all back together to the beginning, and it's a really neat. And then he starts a brand new arc with different characters outside of Good King Trent, who's actually my favorite character in that whole series.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, you're like, yeah, whatever. But I mean, just like, another one, Terry Pratchett.
Oh, I love Terry Pratchett.
Brilliant author.
I've read everything of his.
I have not read everything, but I've read a lot, and he's good.
I've got it all on my shelf.
So
Even the 3 kids books, actually I think there's more.
Truckers, Diggers,
and
Carpet People's really good.
Carpet People. There's We Free Men.
Yep.
Yeah, I got all those too. Yeah.
Very smart. I had this question with somebody else. Who do you like better, Vonnegut or Pratchett?
Oh, Pratchett.
You're a Pratchett guy, okay.
Oh yeah. The Vonnegut's too dark and too serious.
Okay.
Like I said, I write humor.
Yeah, no, it's fair, but I mean, he's got, there's certain bite and Vonnegut stuff too that I really enjoy.
He's got some tongue in cheek here and there. Yes.
Yeah. Aileen Martinez?
I haven't read that.
Oh, that one you would enjoy, I think. Cool thing about him is he's one and done, but they're all humor-based books.
Okay, I'll have to look them up.
Yeah, I think.
Actually, I might have read one and forgotten I've read them. So,
In the Company of Ogres, I think, is one of his. And
okay, I'm sure I've read something by him then. If that's the type of title he has.
Yeah. There's something.
Yeah, the name's starting to ring a bell now.
Yeah, I do think Pratchett is better. But the thing I like about Ailey is it's like a one and done kind of deal. You read one book, you can put it down, and you don't miss anything else. Where, although I love, I think the last really fun one here. Wait, who's your favorite character in the Discworld series?
The Discworld series?
Yeah. Who's your favorite?
Well,
or what's your favorite kind of stories you like in there?
It's hard to have a favorite character because they're all painted so well. I do like the city guards.
City guards are fun.
Yeah, any of them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're Nobby Nobbs is fantastic.
For me, it's okay. I think all time I really enjoy Granny Weatherwax. For some reason, there's something I enjoy about her. Death is just because he's in every book and he's always hilarious.
Death is fun, but he's always like a little bit removed.
Well, no, but that except in his own books, which are interesting.
No, but even then, because he's deaf.
Yeah.
Myself, I still don't quite relate to him as a person.
Yeah. No. I just like that he's just so naturally different. Like he's like a wild card.
He is the best drawn death in any fiction I've read or seen.
Yes.
Very, very, very well done.
Yeah, and then but I think the City Watch books are my favorites of all of his stuff.
So any of the Watchmen. Like the very first Pratchett book I read was Guards, and that might be why I'm biased because that was all about the Guardsmen.
I'm gonna actually. I think this is where me and you will agree. Although the Sea Watch was not my first. I actually started at the very beginning with Rincewind, and then I worked my way up. And Rincewind was my least favorite character of theirs.
Rincewind was too weak.
For a start, he was good. For a start, like when he started that series, that was good. But after you get to I think Eric, there's nothing more to him.
He was just a non-stop victim.
Yes.
And so that's why he's not my. I like reading about him, but he wasn't my favorite character.
I like him when he's a side character in stories now.
Yes.
He's a lot better suited as a side character than he is as a main character.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think they have similar tastes in fiction.
It could be. But my tastes run fairly broad, but there's some places I don't go.
Yeah. It's fair. I'm going everywhere these days just based on the nature of my show.
I'm not a big fan of horror fiction.
Some I like, some I don't. I like it when the horror is nuanced.
Yeah.
When the horror is nuanced, it's really good.
If it's just straight horror, I'm not a fan at all.
No.
Like Stephen King, I can read a lot of his stuff that's horror. but some other that are straight out and out horror writers, it's like, yeah, I'm not your market. Somebody else is.
Peter Straub's pretty good too.
I think I read something by him, but never.
Him and King worked on a couple books together.
Yeah.
Black House and The Talisman. So
Yeah.
he's not bad.
But he like the thing about King is really with his use of words,
Yes.
which probably puts him a little bit ahead of Strauss.
King is one of is the cleanest prose I read.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so clean. I hope someday I get that good. Like where I imagine it's just like I just look at his steps, like even like the editors must have a relatively, I'm not gonna say easy job, but there's not a lot of cleaning up you have to do with that.
No, and I don't believe he actually gets edited anymore.
Yeah.
I think he reached a point where he pretty much disagreed with his editors, and they said,
You're the boss. Yeah.
Said, no, I'm just going to, what you see is what you get. And I think he reached that a while back, and it hasn't been a problem.
No, it's really, he's incredible. Like, it's amazing how clean he is. Right? It's just, my Dark Tower is my favorite stuff of his.
Not mine. And I think I had the wrong expectation when I started. Because I read the first book and almost nothing happened in it.
Yep.
Because it was a trilogy.
Yes.
And it was really just setting up book 3.
Yes, it was, which is really cool.
So I need a fast pace to keep my interest.
Okay.
And so there just wasn't enough going on in that first book.
No, whereas for me, I enjoyed the first book because it was just such a different ambiance to it.
Oh yeah, no, it was fun to read what happened.
Yeah.
But I got to the end of it, and it just wasn't enough for me.
I gotcha. No, I gotcha.
But one person's opinion doesn't count.
No.
Everyone's got different tastes, or they read for different reasons.
Good is relative.
Yes.
Good is relative. It's whether or not, as a reader, you get to enjoy the experience of whatever it is you're reading, and that's really what matters, right? That's why, you love Terry Pratchett, right?
Yes.
Not everybody does. I don't know who doesn't, but not everybody does.
For my example, I always use Monty Python.
Yes.
In a group of 50 people, I'll ask who likes Monty Python, and I'll get half, maybe more than half, will go who hates Monty Python, and the rest of the hands will go up. Because you love them or you hate them.
But I think that's actually the true mark of something that's actually good. Like it's not about like, or it's the fact that you have a strong like or a strong dislike, right? That's when it's good. When it's actually truly horrible, when you feel nothing.
Yeah.
Then you're like, I got nothing out of this, and at that point you're like, why am I reading this? And that's the worst nightmare a writer could have.
Yeah. The question I don't ask all the people that raise their hands saying they don't like Monty Python is, why did you watch it? I thought it would be too embarrassing if anyone tried to answer that. So
no, it's a fair point. Mr. Andy, I think we have a decent interview here.
Fantastic.
So this is what I'd like you to do, unless your next book's coming out really soon.
Nope.
Okay. If it's not.
Well, I should say that. I'm hoping to have my first 2 mysteries out this fall. So that is really soon.
That is really soon. Like it's like October soon, or
I'm talking about near the end of October. Yeah.
Okay. So how about we do it this way then? Because this is going to air in September, because I'm making September pretty much Aurora month,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
So why not promote your first book there and how people can find you?
Okay, I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
So we'll get together in October.
Yeah, if you want. After the auroras, sure.
Oh yeah.
After the auroras, sure.
After the auroras, yeah.
Yeah, sure, we can do that.
And I can congratulate you on your aurora win.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Right? But I mean, I'm just looking at it like, if you totally want, but also just you can promote like the first book now, and then how people can find you later.
If I don't get the artwork, it won't be out in October. So let's wait till October.
Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this one.
I'm still waiting for the artworof to finalize for that.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. So then we'll talk about this one now, and because that's your most recent one, and then how people can find you.
Yeah. So Day the Demon. Like I say, it's a YA space opera. The remnant of mankind, because aliens have been trying to exterminate us for being not up to standard. They're hiding out. And they're being possessed by demons. So if the aliens don't find them, the demons will get them anyway. So they're kind of between a rock and a hard place. And so these 2 characters are trying to figure out what's going on. One is it's the Prince and the Pauper thing. Corin is the prince in waiting, and Alethea is a orphan slave girl. And so they managed to hook up by various means and are actually kind of caught in trying to solve what's going on. And now have two challenges. They go, well, what do we do about these demons? And then what about these aliens that are trying to kill us too? So it's like I say, it's a space opera. It moves along fairly quickly. Some really dark stuff in it. There's some humor in it. It's written in kind of a Middle Ages style. It's not a high-tech type of prose at all.
Okay.
In order to hide from the aliens, they can't use technology. So they're living in a supposedly non-technological society, although there is a bit of technology in it.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
And how can people find you?
RandyMcCharles.com.
All right.
Really easy.
Really, really easy. All right. And that was Randy McCharles, ladies and gentlemen. Randy's up for the Aurora for When Worlds Collide. So definitely, hopefully he wins. Good luck to you, Randy. Check out Day of the Demon and his mystery series coming out in the fall at some point. And he'll definitely be back on the show to promote that. That will do it for this episode of Just Joshing. I'm going to make this real quick because I got lots of other things I need to do between now and Thursday. But you can do a bunch of different things if you want to support the podcast. First off, thank you very much for listening. If you want to subscribe to the podcast, you can do so on iTunes, Podomatic, wherever you'd like. Put me on your list. Listen to me. Give it a listen. You probably really like it, I hope. Anyway, leave a comment if you really like it. If you don't tell anybody. I have a YouTube channel, Joshua Pintelresca. There are episodes there that are archived. Definitely take a listen to some of my older conversations there, including a few with Randy. Beyond that, you can check out my books, The Watcher, Storm Dancer, Wandering God, courtesy of MirrorWorldPublishing.com. Just go check them out. MirrorWorldPublishing.ca, I should say, .ca. Sorry, Justine, don't beat me. You can check out their books and other books there as well. You can find me on Amazon, Kobo, Chapters Indigo, Barnes & Noble. Just buy a book. You can buy and watch it for $1. Take a look, buy it, to read it. If you like it, same thing, leave a comment. If you don't tell anybody. Beyond all that, stay inspired out there. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Don't get caught. Whatever you subscribe to. And, chase your dreams. You only live once, man. Make it count. All right. See you next time.
Josh.